The birth of the Atrisco companies is a story 400 years in the making. A story of land preserved against all odds by generations dedicated to the land's purpose and its meaning in their lives. In 2006, a historic moment occurred for those of us who are heirs to this land. We made the decision to sell our land, the Atrisco land grant, to SunCal Companies of Irvine, California. Fortunately, this was not the end of our 400-year legacy. Our ancestors and our current generation would not allow the land's meaning to simply stop there. So instead of an ending, we created a new beginning, a path that was even more genuine and authentic to our ancestors' original hopes for this land. And so, the Atrisco legacy continued with the birth of a social enterprise. Companies derived from the sale of the land, with the purpose of benefiting the heirs of the land, as well as our greater community. This new social enterprise, these 5 new companies, are creating a pathway into the future for countless generations to come. They combine free market business skills with social philanthropy, bringing high quality, sustainable, competitively priced services to our community. We are proud to say that these highly successful companies, with their focus on education, cultural preservation, and economic development, set a precedent for other nonprofits to emulate as models for sustainable community support.
The Atrisco Heritage Foundation was originally formed out of the sale of the Atrisco land grant land to SunCal in 2006 to promote and preserve Albuquerque's ancestral heritage and the history of the Atrisco land grant. One of the main ideas around the Atrisco Heritage Foundation was to provide scholarships to heirs of the Atrisco land grant to complete secondary education, whether traditional or non-traditional. Currently, we have refocused Atrisco Heritage Foundation into the economic development realm. We developed a curriculum tied to Common Core that is to help students prepare emotionally for college and career. And that curriculum is being taught in high schools. For that reason, we forged a partnership with AmeriCorps Vista, capacity builders and researchers in the quest to improve college and career opportunities for our youth.
So AmeriCorps Vista is a federal program. It is used to fight poverty throughout America. As someone who has worked in the AmeriCorps Vista program, I had the opportunity to go to Del Norte High School here in Albuquerque and help out the students there in college and career readiness.
We're also involved in Guide to Greatness, a citywide program that emphasizes the development of self-confidence, interpersonal skills, and character building, along with pragmatic techniques to improve their academic success.
The Guide to Greatness focuses on the emotional side, the social side of things, where the students who are struggling with self-esteem issues, who don't know how to study, who don't have the right attitude for getting work or starting work in the working world or going to college or even just preparing for later on in life.
Another example of our effort centers on supporting the artistic work of New Mexico artist Federico Vigil. His amazing frescoes help preserve the rich history of Spanish colonialism, which ultimately led to Spanish land grants, such as the Atrisco land grant.
In the sale of the Atrisco land grant, 3 historic cemeteries were retained by our organization. Originally, the cemeteries were created for the Atrisqueños of the Atrisco land grant, so our ancestors are buried there, but anybody can come and be buried at any one of our 3 cemeteries. San Jose de Armijo is one of our oldest cemeteries, and we have a pavilion there that people can gather, and we have our annual Dia de los Muertos event there. Our Dia de los Muertos event has grown, and it's become an event that families look forward to every single year. Santa Clara is one of our oldest cemeteries and one of our most beautiful cemeteries. We just added 3 beautiful crosses at the top of the hill. We have beautiful murals there, and it's a culturally sensitive cemetery. Evangelico is our smallest cemetery. Evangelico was created for families who typically were not Catholics. And it also is the home to our Bernalillo County indigents. We give our families a lot of freedom to be able to express their loved one's life.
I don't know anyone from the South Valley who I grew up with or who I know that doesn't have a family member or a loved one buried here.
I am very proud because this is where my husband wanted to be buried. I didn't. I wanted him to go to where there was grass and it was pretty. He says, no, these are my roots and this is where I want to be.
This is where we come from, and our entire family is buried here. We have 4 generations that are buried here.
When I became a partner with the Atrisco companies, I was impressed right away with just the depth and the comprehensiveness of their commitment to community and especially to education. Rio Grande Educational Collaborative provides fun yet academic-based lesson plans tied to Common Core. It also offers assistance with homework every day, ensuring children are prepared for the next day's classroom lessons.
When we find out from the teachers exactly where the needs are, we support those needs in reading or math, and we supply enrichment activities. We utilize 2 educational models to ensure high quality, unique environment for our children. Our E-cubed model after school and our 4 corners teaching strategy before school. We sneak in academics with activities and kids don't even know they're learning. We have many students that start at a really low reading or math level, and by the time they're in our program for, let's say, a year, then their grade level moves up.
I've learned how to read a lot. I'm the top reader in my class. They have pretty good teachers here.
The staff at our GEC gets comprehensive training, and because of that training that the staff gets, the children and the families that are experiencing the training are getting a higher level of quality than they can get anywhere else.
From time to time, all of our directors, coordinators, and people that work in our office, we actually roll up our sleeves and go to our programs and work in our programs so that we keep connected to those kids. Parents really appreciate our program because we're actually located on site.
It's great because they're able to come to RGEC after school to work on their homework. They have the help from the RGEC instructors, which is great. So we're able to go home and have more family time and review their homework rather than just spend our whole night working on homework with them.
The more and more I've gotten into it, I realize that every sort of facet of the Atrisco companies touches education somehow. And it's just the culture of who they are.
When the land was actually sold, the one thing that was looked at is what do we keep? What's the main thing we hold on to is our mineral rights. And that was important because at least it gives us that last thing that we can say, okay, this is important to our heirs, and we can make sure that our heirs know that. Let's just say we found gas. You know, all of a sudden there's gasoline, there's gas underneath there. And then we're able to pump that gas out. Well, that's an economic benefit to our heirs. We own the water rights. We know there's water there. It's pretty far down, but we know it's there. As technology gets better over time, it's easier to get to those rights that are underground. The true value is going to be there. We know there will be a value. We know that. We see that. That's why we set that aside and we realize that there's going to be some value someday. And we look at that as kind of our investment in our kids and in our future of the organization of our company, but mainly for the future of our heirs. One day we really believe this opportunity is going to bear fruit.
Mariachi touches me personally because it's been a family tradition, and I grew up participating in Mariachi Spectacular, and so it's been just a wonderful part of my life, for decades now. The Mariachi Spectacular concert is really a world-class presentation of the best talent in mariachi music from all over the world, and that's really why it attracts such a broad base from around the country and internationally. It inspires all the participants who get to go to the show, but also the public at large, that, you know, mariachi is a rich and complex genre, and you get to come and hear musicians who are really world-class. The impact isn't just on Albuquerque, but statewide, even nationwide, because there's participants even internationally that come to Mariachi Spectacular. But the mariachi impact goes far beyond concerts. The Mariachi Spectacular workshops present a unique opportunity for students to learn from some of the legends of mariachi music.
The reason that the program started was, I think, an answer to a dream to bring more music appreciation to young people, and especially a music that's part of their heritage.
It's just a really wonderful way in order for us to provide access to learning the different instruments in mariachi. Some of these students are very young, and so they don't really have the background of what the music means. La Pasión de Mariachi is a great way to showcase the concert and our partnership with the university in bringing mariachi to our community. The purpose of La Pasión is really to educate and raise awareness to our community about mariachi. It's a free event, and each session is probably about 15 minutes long, where they'll give the background and the history of all the different instruments and why each of those instruments help formulate the larger mariachi group. And so La Pasión is a way that we can educate and raise awareness as far as mariachi and the impact that it has in our state.
The Mariachi Hall of Fame is so important because it really provides a way to preserve the legacy of these wonderful musicians who have sort of paved the path before us. And it serves as an inspiration for all of the participants to see that a lot of the people who they are learning from in the workshops are actually in the Hall of Fame. The Atrisco company's investment in Mariachi Spectacular speaks volumes to the mission of education. Because of these programs in the schools, it really helps students remain engaged in their education and empower them to really feel like they're doing something important and giving back to their community.
These 5 highly successful companies had their beginnings centuries earlier, but in just 10 years, we have built these entities into a dynamic social enterprise, the Atrisco companies. While each company is distinctly different, their collective focus is on education, cultural preservation, and economic development, bringing exceptional value to our community and New Mexico as a whole. All 5 companies, all born from the same heritage, the Atrisco land grant, are threads of today woven together with threads from the past and those yet to come, creating a tapestry rich with history, culture, and social significance for us all.